Broadcasting live from Studio 69 at Casa Not So Grande, you've got Big Red and IndyCar Tim and the Drunk Sports Podcast.
Let's get into our 2019 NFL predictions, shall we?
Let's do this.
Are you up for this?
I'll sit here and argue with you about all of it, so let's go.
All right. Well, let's start in the AFC, the conference that nobody cares about. And let's start in the division of the AFC that no one cares about. That would be the AFC South, shall we?
Okay.
So in the
All
AFC South, and this team in the last 2 days has been wildly active in trades. But I feel the AFC South will be won by the Houston Texans. And in no way does that mean I think they're a good team. I think they're the best team in a terrible, terrible division. They lost Lamar Miller. Bill O'Brien's offense is going to maintain. They traded for Duke Johnson. Deshaun Watson's going to improve. Your quarterback, you love Deshaun Watson. He's going to keep improving. DeAndre Hopkins could be an MVP contender for the league if he has a good year. The defense,
as long as his quarterback stays on track.
Yes, the defense has been solid. Fell off last year. But the biggest thing about this team, who has a ton of question marks, is that the other three teams in the league have even more question marks than Houston. So in the AFC South, give me the Houston Texans.
I do not disagree with that. Them losing Lamar Miller.
Yeah, Lamar Miller. Yeah,
and to a knee injury. But they've got a backup there, and then trading off Clowney, that touches them a little bit on defense. But I mean, they've still got J.J. Watt, who is perennially the defensive player of the year, a defensive player of the year candidate.
Right.
And so yeah, I feel like that Houston is the right pick for that conference. Yes.
All right. Moving on, the AFC East. Everyone's familiar with the AFC East. It's the deepest, I think, division in the AFC. And, of course, I mean, how do you pick against the New England Patriots every year until Brady and Belichick are gone? This is the most versatile, I think, that Bill Belichick has had of a defense in many, many years. The offensive line is back. They're strong. Tom Brady.
The man that does the most with least.
Yeah, exactly. Tom Brady hasn't missed a beat, even though he's 79 years old. And they'll just continue to figure it out like they always have. Miami's going to be terrible. The Bills are going to be terrible. The Jets are going to be terrible. By default, the Patriots.
But you said that it was the deepest conference. It's not the deepest. It's the deepest as far as the talent. New England
the talent pools. Yeah, you're right. The talent pools.
But yeah, with those other teams, they're sorry, and New England could walk out there for 16 football games and put together a division championship easily. So,
if the Patriots don't sweep that division this year, I will be shocked. With those three teams that they're playing twice this year, so I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Moving on, the AFC West, the division I love. There's not a division I love more than the NFC East. But my favorite division in the AFC is the West. Man, I love the Chiefs. I love the Broncos. I hate the Raiders. And I used to love the Chargers when Dan Fouts was there. Haven't been a big fan of the Chargers since. So, by default, they're going to repeat. The Chiefs will win that division.
Absolutely. So we definitely agree on that. But just throw something else at you. We always bitch about everybody that the Cowboys play in the NFC East. We're always going to the East Coast. At least we're not the Chiefs, and everybody in our division is playing way earlier than they are.
No, we deal with that from a baseball standpoint with the Rangers, of course.
Right.
All of their division foes are on the West Coast. So,
right.
Yeah, on weeknights when we want to watch a Ranger game, we got to stay up until 11:30, 12 o'clock to watch the end of the game. Of course, they don't deal with that with football, but
But two, I mean, being a football team, if you're playing on the West Coast and you've got an early game, even though in your head you're playing at noon, your body is telling you it's 10 a.m. and I should be waking up and eating breakfast right now.
Exactly. So the Chiefs, and then an up-and-coming division, and we discussed this the first couple of weeks of this podcast when it started. The AFC North, the Cleveland Browns, I have winning the AFC North. John Dorsey's roster is extremely talented. Dude, this is a different team from the last the last 10 years. That's been a terrible, terrible franchise. The poor dog pound there in Cleveland has had nothing to cheer about until last year after Mayfield took over the starting quarterback job, 3 or 4 games in. And
Yep.
They didn't win every game, but, dude, they were in every game, and they were exciting to watch.
Like him or not, Mayfield is he's polarizing, man. I mean, he's the dude that's going to make them or break them. He's either going to make them a contender or he's going to bring so much negative attention to them that he folds and craps out. But the dude has, I mean, he's been underrated his entire life, and I don't see him failing. And if he does, call me out on it. That's fine. I think the dude is as much as I hate to say it, the dude's a stud, and he's gonna make hay. He's gonna make hay in the NFL.
Well, you know who Baker Mayfield is? Baker Mayfield is who Johnny Manziel should have been. If Johnny Manziel had a head on his shoulders, it's okay to party and be an idiot and say what the hell you want and say what comes to mind, but, dude, back it up on the field. You got to get to the field first. That's what Baker Mayfield does. Like you said, he's polarizing. He's abrasive, just like Johnny Manziel. But you know what? Baker Mayfield lets his play speak for him. And he's a badass. There's no question. And I hate OU. I hate OU. But, dude, I love Baker Mayfield. I'm going to be following the Browns for a long time.
They're going to be fun to watch, man. They got a lot of weapons, and they've still got his name slips me, but the defensive end that they took number 1 pick year before last, from A&M, he's that defense is coming around, and they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be fun to watch. So I hate to continually agree with you.
Stop it.
Because that's not my mantra.
It doesn't make for good radio.
No, it doesn't. But so come up with say something stupid so I can disagree with you.
You're probably going to disagree with my NFC pick. So in the AFC, again, division winners, Patriots, Browns, Texans, Chiefs. Wild cards. The first wild card I have are your Los Angeles Chargers. Yes, Melvin Gordon probably will not play there this year.
Melvin Gordon has been given permission from the team to seek a trade.
Right.
Saw that today or yesterday. I don't remember. My days are running together. My check liver light has been flashing at me.
That was today.
But, so that is that's happening as we speak, as well as other talks in the league. But so I don't know. I don't believe they are as well off as the Cowboys are at the running back position as far as finding somebody to fill in. I kind of wish Jerry would say, Zeke, you want out of this shit so bad, find somebody else, take it. But again, I don't totally agree with you as far as the pick for the wild card because of that, just because of Melvin Gordon and his situation. But if Gordon shows up, they're Phillip Rivers, man. He's always been there, and even though the dude's got 9 kids, the dude still produces, even though he produces it at home too. So,
well, you mentioned Melvin Gordon being out, and I said that he probably won't play for them this year. He's either going to hold out the whole year or he'll be traded. They still have Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson at running back, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Casey Hayward, and, of course, their first-round pick, Jerry Tillery, who's got a ton of firepower. And that, again, that division's not going to be super strong other than the Chiefs and the Chargers. So by default, I gave it to the Chargers. And you're going to hate my wild card number 2. I hate my wild card number 2.
Oh, shit.
But I was looking around, and this just changed, by the way, in the last couple of days. I will tell you, my wild card number 2 before a couple days ago were the Colts. I had the Colts and the Texans kind of fighting it out for that division, and now with the retirement of Andrew Luck, which we will talk about a little bit later in the show, I have now that the Colts they're going to be out of it. Jacoby Brissett will not lead them to a division title or a wild card appearance. The Steelers, I have the Steelers, the second wild card spot in that conference.
You can't disagree with that either, because I mean, even though Ben Roethlisberger being the quarterback that he is, he's still one of the best in the business, and he makes chicken salad out of chicken shit, and that's what he'll do again. He's got a great running back in Connors. He's got Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, he's got 2 great fucking talents that he can.
Devin
Bush
on the defense, man. Devin Bush is torn up that defense. That offense will still produce. So yeah, I'm please say something stupid so I can argue with you, because. So how about this? How big would we be in on this in the first round of the playoffs? Browns versus Steelers in that wild card matchup.
Dude, that is bringing back old school shit that we saw as kids, and I think that would rejuvenate the hatred in that conference, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because since the Browns moved to Baltimore, when was that? 96?
Whenever it was, 96, they just Art Modell said, "I'm gonna turn the light off on you."
And he did, the Colts did to Baltimore at the same time. But of course, then they reemerged as an expansion team, I believe, in '99. But yeah, dude, that has not been a rivalry. That has not been a rivalry since the '80s, really, '70s and '80s.
Two of the greatest fan bases in the NFL, between the Dog Pound and the Terrible Towels, man. Those two fan bases are awesome to see. And
dude.
As much as we hate seeing them infiltrate Cowboy Stadium, it's to have that kind of passion and that kind of love. You got to respect them. You got to respect them.
So you know how you prevent that, right? How you prevent the fan base from infiltrating to your home stadium?
Whip their ass every time they show up.
Just win, baby. Just win. Win the damn game. All right, so let's move on to the NFC. How about that? And let's start with the NFC North. The Norris division of the NFC, as the great Chris
Norris division. Yep.
Used to call it. I have the Vikings. Vikings winning that division over, of course, the Lions, Green Bay, and Chicago.
I think that that may be our first disagreement.
All right.
The Vikings are going to be good. I think that is a conference, that is a division of mediocrity right now, and as bad as I hate to say it, Arnie, you're part of that with the Packers. They're going to struggle. That whole conference is going to struggle. The Bears. I believe the Bears are the most talented team in that conference right now, even with Trubisky at quarterback. Maybe he has a breakout year, a little bit better than he did last year. I think the Bears will come out of that division.
So last year, of course, Kirk Cousins was the starter in Minnesota. He didn't quite live up to what the Vikings expected him, or fans expected him to be, as that high-priced free agent that he was. But when you look at the games and you look at him, if you watch them every week, and I didn't watch them every week, I did go back and watch some highlights. He didn't play necessarily terribly.
No, he's not. No, he is not a terrible quarterback. No. He is not. I believe he is a top 15 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that.
At the bottom half of that top 15, right. Certainly. Bottom 5, bottom 3 probably. But he is he is highly functional, and he's got a lot of talent, and that defense will help him out tremendously.
Yes, I agree. Of course, he's going to be more comfortable with his team this year. It's not as he's more familiar because he's been there. Of course, Dalvin Cook's going to be healthy. That'll help take some of the pressure off. And the only concern I have with the Vikings is the offensive line, mainly because it's a division with Khalil Mack, your buddy down in Chicago, and they're going to meet twice. And holy crap, we got a buttload of comments here that I have missed. I want to say hello to Mr. Gerber. We want to say hello to Travis Martin, Jason Weathers, Hector. How you doing, Hector? Good to see you. Travis throwing some opinions out there. Houston's going to be mad when Clowney makes them eat crow. KC and Cleveland's going to be Rockets. Here, let's put some of these on the screen here. Jacob tells us to preach, gentlemen. Thank you, Jacob. We appreciate you, brother. Travis is trying to throw out a Boomer Sooner. Should I show that?
Really? So I've been sitting here watching our StreamYard, and none of that stuff's coming up on there. So, yes, I see. Yeah, Mayfield's much harder than Johnny Football. Johnny Football is it's going to hurt your feelings, brother, and I love you, but prepare yourself. He's a fucking snowflake, dude. He's a snowflake.
Well, you know what? I know. I'm not going to disagree with that. We have a family history with the Manziels. My dad was in the oil business and dealt with that family for years before Johnny was born, before I was born.
No disrespect to that family. I'm just saying the man himself is a snowflake, and
let's call him for what he is.
Call a spade a spade.
He is an idiot. There's no question. All right, so the NFC North with the Vikings. Let's go to that NFC South, shall we? How about your New Orleans Saints?
Now, see, it's not my New Orleans Saints. It's your New Orleans Saints because you're a traitor ass.
I was born there, dude.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason I'll let you get away with it. It's the only reason I'll let you get away with it. But when it comes down to the NFC Championship,
wait, that's not
New
Drew
Orleans
Bledsoe.
Saints.
I thought I had Drew Brees on my shirt, but it's the other.
No, it's Brittany. Yeah. So when it comes down to the New Orleans Saints and the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, where are your loyalties going to lie then?
You know where they
lie. Go ahead. Next. And I do not disagree. I think that South. I think that NFC South with the Aints and the Blackbirds. I think it's going to be rough and tumble, man. But I do believe that Drew Brees, even though he's 56 years old, just a year or so younger than Brady, that I believe they're going to pull it out. But it's going to be NFC is going to be a tough road to hoe, man. NFC is going to be a tough road to hoe.
I still say that the Saints have the most dynamic offense in the NFL, without question.
They've got the highest paid wide receiver in the league. They've got Alvin Kamara that can make magic happen anytime, anywhere, and they've got Drew Brees, the guy that everybody keeps giving up on, that keeps showing up and keeps making magic happen week after week. I mean,
how stupid does Miami feel after rejecting him when he came from San Diego? They rejected him based on his physical with his shoulder. Because remember, he was coming off of shoulder surgery when the Chargers drafted what's his face. So, just think, man, he could have been in Miami this entire time. Probably not winning Super Bowls, but who would have thought he'd win a Super Bowl with the Saints? This franchise had never had one before. But
but I mean, and two, the other feel good story. I mean, for me and my family, Stace went to school with I just forgot his name. The defensive coordinator there at New Orleans, and she's yelling at me right now, screaming at the phone. I'm surprised she hadn't texted me yet.
The current defensive coordinator?
The current defensive coordinator for the Saints. But anyway, she went to school with him at LD Bell. Good family, good people, and but again, say something stupid so I can argue with you.
All right, let's move on to the NFC West, shall we? And I don't really know that we're going to disagree here. How about those Los Angeles Rams and Sean McVay?
Another young, great mind. So maybe we have our own young, great mind in Kellen Moore, but we'll have to wait and see. But I don't see the old man in Seattle taking that over. You got Shanahan in San Francisco. Garoppolo. As big a flash in the pan as he was, is he really all that good?
Right.
We don't know because he can't stay healthy long enough to run a 3 and out, and when he does, he throws 5 consecutive interceptions in practice.
We talking about practice, yo.
Practice. Talking about practice. So, but yeah, I can't disagree with you there. We spend far too much time together because our opinions are becoming much more alike. Yeah,
damn it, that makes for terrible radio.
Yeah,
so of course Sean McVay, sensational. Aaron Donald, still he may be the defensive player of the year. Todd Gurley, we don't know what's happening with him. His knee's terrible. He may not ever be the same Todd Gurley he was coming out of college. But whatever they do, McVay, he's kind of getting that same reputation as Belichick. He works with whatever he has, and he seems to make it work, and seems to make it work well. So of course Darrell Henderson, the rookie running back, is there. He can play. We have Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods. Cooper Kupp will be back in the lineup again. We forget that he was out almost the entire season last year, and he is a badass.
Yep.
And McVay
Two
still
girlies,
play
one cup.
Right. McVay still play calling. So there we go for the NFC West, your Los Angeles Rams. And let's go to your coveted NFC East, shall we?
Best for last. Let's go.
Would you like to tell me your pick first? Because we haven't discussed any of your picks. But I'll go first if you want me to.
Well, let me do that. It doesn't matter because it's going to be the same. You're a homer like I am, but I'm still critiquing. It's going to come down to one of two teams. It's either the Philly or the Cowboys out of the East. Nobody else can either can carry any of those teams' jockstraps as far as I'm concerned. If Carson Wentz stays healthy, I believe that they are probably the front runner as far as the division goes. If not, it all depends on again. It comes down to what Kellen Moore can do with that offense. It's the offense isn't bad. It was the play calling, it was the execution, it was the setup, and disguise something a little bit. Quit running the same people out there to run the same damn plays, and let's see what happens. And that's exactly what Kellen's doing. I firmly believe that it's going to be really, really tough. But my heart pumps blue blood, man. So I got to go with the Cowboys.
Yes. So your NFC East champions will be the Dallas Cowboys. They will repeat. Of course, we have the new triplets, Dak, Zeke, and Amari. And make no mistake, Zeke will be here for game 1. Zeke will be in the facility tomorrow. And I believe we are talking right now on September 1st at 9:41 p.m. Central Time. I tell you, within 24 hours, Zeke will have his deal signed. He will be back with the Cowboys, and he will be back with the team at the facility tomorrow, ready to start practice on Tuesday.
Yeah, everything that I've seen and the all the reports, even up here in Missouri, they're saying that the Cowboys they're hard at it, and they expect to have a deal done before the end of the weekend. So, and I know we're at the end of the weekend, but it's a holiday weekend, so the end of the weekend doesn't officially end until tomorrow.
That's true. So the best 1-2-3 punch in the NFL still, in my opinion, with Dak, Zeke, and Amari. They now have a full season with Amari Cooper, and we know that Dak and Coop clicked literally immediately when Coop came here to the Cowboys from the Raiders. It was amazing. The whole time that Dak and Dez played together, there was no chemistry. There was they looked terrible, like they'd never seen each other before on the field. But
And we
immediately
both-
when Cooper got here,
And you and I both of us love Dez. I do.
I hate Dez.
I love Dez.
Okay, there we go. We're both on record for disagreeing about Dez.
Okay, so good. But Dez there was not a more fierce competitor on that team. Was he a diva? Absolutely, he was a fucking diva.
Man, see, I question that.
Was
I
he?
question your
Was he almost a cancer? Yes, some of his actions, he was almost a cancer to that team.
Yes.
But whenever the dude was on and he was focused and he was getting the ball the way he wanted the ball, there was not a better football player on the field than that man anytime.
Man, we have entirely different opinions of Dez Bryant. Because I saw the exact freaking opposite. I saw a guy on the sideline that acted like he wanted to be there, that wanted to make a big show, to show everybody, man, look at me. Everybody look at me on the sideline. But when I get out to run that 10-yard in and I know the ball's not coming to me, I'm going to walk 4 steps. I'm going to stop and turn around. I'm not even going to look at the ball because I know the ball's not coming to me.
There were times that the man was no different than Odell Beckham on his best day. I do too. But a great athlete, a great talent, and when his head's right, one of the best on the field. So,
well, I wish Dez all the luck in his private endeavors, but he ain't ever playing football again.
no,
So let's agree that Dak and Amari have a way better chemistry than Dak and Dez. Correct? You agree with that?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mark that one up.
All right. So with the new offense, I say new offense. You dispute that with Kellen Moore. They have a top 3 defense on the field. It's one of the deepest Cowboy teams that we've seen in many, many, many years. And again, like you said, there's not a lot of competition in the NFC East. And my basis of this, and of course we're comparing the Cowboys and the Eagles like you did. And you said if Carson Wentz can stay healthy, I'm assuming he won't stay healthy because he never has in the last 6 years of his football life going back to college and high school. He has never had a full season fully healthy in 6 years going back to high school, college, I guess, and then the pros. So it's not going to happen again. He's going to get hurt, and now they don't have super sub Nick Foles backing him up.
Jacksonville.
Wait, Nick Foles? Nick Foles. Yeah, Nick Folk was the kicker, right?
Foles.
All right, Folk was the kicker. Nick Foles. He's in Jacksonville.
Foles is in Jacksonville. Yep.
So, yes, the Cowboys will win the NFC East again. Let's get to the wild cards for the NFC, then we got to take a break.
Cool.
NFC wild card number 1, your Atlanta Falcons. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. So I absolutely agree with that because it's going to be a toss up between them and the Aints. So yeah. So
if you remember last year, they had a terrible record, but it was because of injuries. Injuries doomed them last year. The offense is still loaded. They'll have a claw in this spot. It's a brutal division, and they're playing one of the league's toughest schedules. But dude, when they come out of the regular season, they'll be one of the hot teams if they get there, as I predict, one of the hot teams in the playoffs to watch for the NFC. Wild card number 2, the Bears. The Bears. And it's because of their defense. Their defense.
Well, so I
had them with the division,
the Bears. Right? I had them coming out of the division. So, I think there's going to be. I think the Cowboys and the Eagles come out of the East.
All right. So you've got the Eagles in place of the Falcons or the Bears?
I got the Eagles in place of the Bears. Because I had the Bears coming out. I had the Bears coming out of the North. So
you had them winning the division. That's right. All right.
Yep.
All right. So Cowboys win in the East, Rams win in the West, Saints win in the South, Vikings winning the North. Your 2 division teams, the Falcons and the Bears, all on me, in my opinion. So there's our NFL prediction, or my NFL prediction for 2019. But we're going to keep with our NFL theme for this show. I am going to give my predictions for the NFL season awards. And this shouldn't take too much time because there's not a lot of awards. And again, it's just a prediction based on going into the regular season, what I've seen in preseason and a little bit last year. Lance, you're going to be really happy about one of these because if one of these holds true, your fantasy team is going to do really well. And I'm going to start with the Coach of the Year. We've got Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and then finally the League MVP. According to IndyCar Tim on this September 1st at 10 p.m. Central Time. But I have the Coach of the Year, and if all holds true like it did last year, this will happen, Mr. Freddie Kitchens of the Cleveland Browns.
Freddie Kitchens. If they perform the way they do and they're in the they win the division, I can't disagree with that at all.
So the Browns have had just one 10-win season and one playoff appearance this century. But he's got enough talent on his roster. He should be able to do both of those things this year, and I believe that is enough to give him Coach of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. Yes, that is the thing. I had to look it up. It happens every year.
You not want to throw a possible backup to that Coach of the Year?
Who do you have in mind? I did not do backups on my list.
Well, I mean, you always got to throw a Belichick in there because Belichick does the most with the least, right?
He should never win Coach of the Year, ever.
Why? Why not?
They should just name the award after him.
Well,
you're going to win the Bill Belichick Coach of the Year award. But don't ever give him Coach of the Year award.
But
had he won a Super Bowl with Matt Castle, he could have been Coach of the Year. But he didn't. He had to have Tom.
But then you also got to think about, if Buffalo does anything, then you got Frank Reich coming in
Indy.
At Indy. I'm sorry, not Buffalo. At Indy. Of course, that took a hard hit with Luck being gone.
I feel bad for Frank Reich right now.
Which even more so, if he does anything with that team, with Luck being gone, then he'd be in good shape. So
no, and you're right. If he does anything with that team, which he won't, then he will be in the running. I agree. Comeback Player of the Year. And I'm not sure I agree that this should even be an award because you're kind of rewarding somebody who sucked for a year for being better when they came back.
Or you're awarding somebody that never even played last year.
Or someone that didn't play last year, which is the case here, brother. And I'm honoring your fantasy football team here with Mr. Le'Veon Bell with the New York Jets.
There you go.
So I feel he's going to start slow this year, which he should.
Should it be considered a comeback player of the year? No, because the man held out on his own volition. He held out on his own volition. It was all his own damn fault, holding out for money. I mean, if Zeke doesn't play this year and comes back next year and wins the rushing title, then yeah, I mean, he's going to be named the comeback player of the year. But should he be? No, because he wasn't. It's not a comeback as in the man was hurt or something
big red
catastrophic happened or something like that. So should Le'Veon Bell be the comeback player of the year? No, he should not. The dude held out for money, didn't play, didn't finish out his contract, didn't do what he was supposed to do. Even though he wasn't on a contract, he had a franchise tender out there, and he was too big of a douchebag not to show up and finish out. So anyway.
No, and I agree with you. And I don't think this should even be an award, but it's there, so I'm making a prediction.
My comeback player of the year,
Andrew Luck.
Cowboys. If the Cowboys do what they can do on offense, Travis Frederick.
That's a good one.
Travis Frederick, dude. I mean, he's the quarterback of the offensive line. He's the one that calls the blocking schemes and everything else. And I'm not taking anything away from what we had last year. But I mean, Travis Frederick, he's the man, dude. He's a beast.
Well, and he would be my personal pick for comeback player of the year. But from a league professional standpoint, obviously Le'Veon Bell's got a little more notoriety. He plays a higher profile position. So, again, I'm not saying who I want to win these awards. I'm saying who I think will win these awards. But, dude, Travis Frederick needs to win something. Of course, we haven't seen him play yet. Let's see him play a few games and finish the season healthy. Because it wasn't just the disease that he's coming back from. He had a couple of surgeries, too, a couple of injuries. Yeah, that's last week's episode on the TV behind you, by the way.
Wow.
Live from Two Brothers. So, but no, man.
Live from Two Brothers, but live from the dugout at the same time.
I agree wholeheartedly. From a heart standpoint, Travis Frederick should win that. But again, I don't think he will, just because of the position that he plays, and the league likes to recognize the skill positions or whatever you want to call them. So,
of course they do.
Coach of the year, Freddie Kitchens. Comeback player of the year, Le'Veon Bell. Defensive rookie of the year. Give me one, Devin Bush, Pittsburgh Steelers. Dude, he was put on earth to play middle linebacker for the Steelers. Dude, he's a stud. He's a leader. He's Leighton Vander Esch on steroids. He's a tackling machine. And that team needs him desperately to pick up some slack on defense. Even though he's from Michigan, I'll still give him the defensive ROI. But, dude, he just watch out. That might be the only thing Pittsburgh has going for them this year.
Quinnen Williams from the Jets. I think it's somebody else we need to watch out for from the rookie from Alabama. He's going to be a stud, dude. He'll be a stud.
Offensive rookie of the year, and this pick was difficult for me. I would have loved to have said Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. I just know that with Zeke coming on, his role will be reduced, and he will not have the opportunity to have the carries and the catches and the touches.
Are you sure it's Tony and not Troy?
Are you going to make me go back and look now?
Are you sure it's Tony Pollard and not Troy?
I don't know what his name is. I might just start calling him Pollard.
I'm just trying to make you question yourself. So, that's all, baby. That's all, man. You know I love you.
So the sexy pick for my offensive rookie of the year, Mr. Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals.
And I think with Coach Bro, man, they can make shit happen if they get that offense going. So I don't wholly disagree with that. I think a sneaker in there. He won't play all season, but as much as we laughed about it when the draft happened, Daniel Jones, man, he's looked sharp in the preseason. And call me stupid, but even though he's in our division, so that's the stuff I've been watching, and he's looked good.
Man, and don't get me started on Daniel Jones, because when that draft pick happened, number 6 overall.
We laughed. Dude, we laughed.
No, I didn't laugh.
Together.
No, I did not laugh, dude. I watched all those people on TV that were at the draft that were pissed off, all those Giant fans, and I'm like, dude, why are you laughing? Just wait. Just wait for it. And now, dude, you saw him in the preseason. I watched the first few series that he had. Dude, he is not terrible. Baker Mayfield had his famous freaking thing with the GQ interview when he said, quote, "I can't believe the Giants picked Daniel Jones," end quote.
Yep.
And he had to eat crow, which, again, we talked about him, and he likes to speak off the cuff and whatever. That's fine. It's all good and dandy. They kissed and made up, apparently, via text. It's a whole nother story. But, dude, Daniel Jones has an arm. He has a presence. And I would not be mad if he was our freaking Cowboys quarterback here.
Nope,
but everybody dismissed that pick. And now watching him in the preseason, everybody's backpedaling.
Right.
And
but I don't disagree with Kyler Murray. He's a day one starter. He's going to get all the touches, and it's his award to lose. How about that?
Well, no, and I don't disagree with that. My only issue is we know going into the season Kyler Murray is the number one quarterback in Arizona. We don't know when Daniel Jones will take over as the starting quarterback. Dude, it might not even be this season, in all honesty. If things go well with Eli, and I'm an Eli fan, I have no issues with Eli. I don't think
You
he's
like
fallen
Eli
off.
because he sucks and he's got dumb face and he helps the Cowboys. That's why you like Eli.
I like it. You know,
Just
my
like me.
son is named after him, sir.
I'm sorry.
Because I didn't want to name my son Archie or Peyton or Cooper. So I picked Eli. But, dude, I have no issues with Eli Manning. I still think he's serviceable. Yes, he's 38 years old. And you know what? He's not as bad as everyone likes to make fun of him and the dumb face and how terrible he is at quarterback. He will not lose you a game. He may not win you a game, but he will not lose you a game at 38 years old. So,
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl
he won 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots.
by sticking a football to another man's helmet.
Did he win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he did.
There
He
you
did.
go.
Okay, next.
Defensive Player of the Year, my pick. And this is a no-brainer. There's no way this will not happen unless he is injured and out for the year. Mr. Aaron Donald from the Rams.
Again, back to the Browns. Your boy, your A&M boy, and I'm almost
Miles
surprised
Jack?
that you called him out.
Miles
Miles
Jack.
Garrett.
Miles
Miles
Garrett.
Garrett.
Miles Jack. Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett. He's if the Browns are in contention, yes, the Aaron Donald should. But if the Browns make hay, I don't see Miles Garrett not being in the mix. You know, Miles Garrett and Khalil Mack, both of them, just two dynamic defensive presence, and they're every quarterback when they step on the field, those three guys, they know where those men are before they take a snap because they do not want to get hit in the ear hole with those guys.
So, of course, Aaron Donald has won the Defensive Player of the Year the last 2 seasons. There has only been 2 players ever to win it 3 years. Of course, Lawrence Taylor and J.J. Watt. But, dude, I just don't see anybody. And trust me, I wish DeMarcus Lawrence was on my list to win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't see a Cowboy winning it because Cowboys historically do not win a lot of awards with the NFL because they're mostly voted on by idiots from the East Coast who hate the Cowboys.
Because we're America's team and everybody is Cowboys anti-bias.
So, yes. So, my heart choice would be DeMarcus Lawrence or Jalen Smith. My brain choice is Aaron Donald. Let's go to the Offensive Player of the Year. This is a dude that may help me win my fantasy football league last year as my first pick as a rookie, Mr. Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants.
You had no idea what you were picking at the time, did you?
No, dude, it was a gut pick.
Okay, well,
Because I knew Eli had nobody to
Good on
throw
you.
to because Beckham was
Yep.
going to be hurt all year, and I figured they're going to be running the ball a shit-ass ton of times, and Saquon Barkley was their guy. I had no idea he was going to be that good. But he is a badass. He was Rookie of the Year last year. He's going to be more comfortable going into his second year. He's learned Mike Shula's offense a little bit more. He's going to be more involved in the passing game. The Giants have a ton of injuries from other skill position players. So, dude, Saquon is their guy. He's going to be their guy. He's going to
it's all they got. Yeah, that is
he's
their
going to put
offense.
up a ton of stats, dude. And we all know that offensive awards, whether it's a Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year, whatever, are stats driven. And
That's
he's
a
going to
sexy
have
pick.
all the stats, man.
That's a sexy pick. That's a sexy pick. Yeah, and so I mean, but then you've also got DeAndre Hopkins. You've got
Man, you are
Pat Mahomes-
big on DeAndre Hopkins, aren't you?
Pat Mahomes.
Do you love
I mean,
the Houston Texans?
Yeah, I don't love them, but I mean, you can't dismiss them. They've got a hot quarterback. They've got
Is that
they've
good
got
looking?
not hot as in good looking, good as in. But if as long as he can stay on his feet, he's good. Hopkins, He gets more targets than anybody in the damn league. Pat Mahomes, the offensive player of the year last year, the MVP last year. The dude that will set the bar at $40 million plus, because the quarterback that we have does not need to make $40 million.
I agree.
This dude should, and this dude will, and he's got another year, and he will wait it out, and he will make his money. The other dude that I keep thinking about, if their offense can produce, then Carolina at Christian McCaffrey, man, that cat just keeps producing. One of the smallest guys on the damn field, but is tough. Will run between the tackles. Will catch it out of the backfield. You can put him at the X. You can put him at the Z, and the dude makes plays, man. He's everywhere you need him to be. So.
And he is the living spirit of his still alive father, Ed McCaffrey. Dude,
God.
Those two
love
guys,
that man, dude. Love him.
He was amazing, man. So,
Yep.
Moving on to our last award for 2019, and to review, I had as my comeback player of the year Le'Veon Bell, coach of the year Freddie Kitchens, defensive rookie of the year Devin Bush with the Steelers, offensive rookie of the year Kyler Murray with the Cardinals, defensive player of the year Aaron Donald, offensive player of the year Saquon Barkley. Our league MVP should be a no-brainer, again, if he stays healthy. I don't even care where they finish in the playoff hunt. Mr. Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to be healthy, hopefully. Dude, he's got an incredible array of talent all around him. Deshaun Jackson, he's got one of the best offensive lines. They're going to protect him. The only competition might be, like you said, if Wentz can stay on the field, if Wentz can stay healthy, it might be a two-man race here for MVP.
But we both know the man hasn't been healthy since he was in high school. Right. So for him to make an entire season, if he does, again, if the man stays healthy and the man can produce all year long, 16 games, 17 weeks, if the man does it, then he has the talent to be the MVP. But again, don't dismiss the two old men in the league, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Those guys, again, Drew Brees has the firepower, has the offense to do it. Tom Brady has the coach, and he's the field general. He does the most with the least. You can't pass those two guys up either.
No, I agree. It's going to be a fun NFL season coming up, and I'm ready for it to start.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Drunk Sports Podcast. Join us next time for a lot more alcohol and more drunk sports talk with Lance and Tim. Until next time, here's to you.
We're all drunk.
This is the funnest night ever. Boats and hoes.
Call me